The following is intended only for mature audiences. For the people that are going to be watching or listening to tonight's show, you might either want to get some ear filters or change the channel.
Hey folks, P. Busardo here, and you're listening to the Smoke Free Radio Network.
Good evening and welcome to another edition of Vaping in the Mic. Folks, these guys don't need any introduction. They have gone from smokers to vapors to celebrity status to international celebrity status. And they are the only two guys that I know that can sit in a hot tub for more than 2 hours, get tanked, and have people sit and follow them for the entire live stream. But it was awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would, Dimitris and Phil Busardo, and guys, this is awesome. Thank you for being on the show. I've been waiting for this since the first time I did a show, honest to God.
It's an absolute pleasure to be with you again, Mike. And I'm gonna try to actually talk a little bit and maybe not get overthrown by Dimitris. But I will tell you this, Mike. I will tell you this. Not so long ago, just maybe even several years ago, like if I had walked into my backyard and in my backyard I found tripods and video cameras and LED lighting and empty solo cups and empty bottles of liquor, I would say to myself, wow, you had a really good party the other night. But times have changed. And now I walked out and I saw that. I'm like, no, it wasn't a good party. It was just me and Dimitri in the hot tub for 3 hours.
It was fun. I mean, I know you try to get me drunk and take advantage of me. It didn't really work out for you, but it was a lot of fun. And it was good to, I literally drove 3 hours down. I was in Orlando for work for one of my clients, Jam Monster, and then I just drove down 3 hours just to see you, just to hang out for a couple hours. I mean, if that's not a testament to true friendship, I don't know what is.
And I appreciate it. I really, that. I love having you here. I love hanging out with you, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. We went to dinner. We went to an outstanding bar after the dinner. And then we got in the hot tub and got all pruny together and did kind of an epic Facebook Live. But
I don't know what it says about vapors, but that video from last night is topped 4,000 views. I mean, who would sit and watch two middle-aged Mediterranean vapors in a hot tub for 2 hours?
There were more than 40
views on that video.
There were more than 40 people that did that all night.
Yeah, how is it that people complain about my my extra long reviews, but they'll sit through that train wreck for 3 hours?
Start doing them in the hot tub.
There was some good stuff, though. There was definitely some good stuff. Especially the lesson on butt sex. I thought that was pretty good.
I think a lot of people learned something new yesterday. That they didn't
it was valuable information put out.
Brought a lot of value to the broadcast. That's for sure.
You look very tired, my friend. I was very. I know you made it to the plane on time. I know you had to get up like really, really early for that, and I was very happy that I was able to help you get up in the morning.
I appreciate that.
Yep. Actually, the truth be told is I set my bedroom alarm, I set the kitchen alarm, They both went off, and I didn't get up. And then I actually woke up at 7:30, and I've been up since 7:30, which is pretty remarkable considering the size of my head this morning. But the first thing I did was like, oh my God, he missed his flight, right? Because and it would be my fault because you would blame me forever. So I ran into the room and you weren't there. And I was like, okay, he at least got up and he got out. And then I was concerned that maybe you missed the flight. At which point I started texting you, and then I found out that you were on the flight. So
the only thing I regret is because I left in a hurry. I didn't make the bed and put the towel.
Good. Well, it's funny that you should say that because I was gonna bring it up, and I almost took a photo of it. I'm thinking to myself, what kind of piece of shit stays at somebody's house, gets up in the morning, and leaves the bed in a mess without making it? Because like the last time I was at your house, I made the bed.
Yes, and I wanted to, honestly. And the last time I was at your house, I did as well, too. I was really concerned with time. I've never driven to the airport over there, so I didn't know where the rental car return place was.
Right.
So I just kind of left in a hurry, just wanted to make sure that I was going to get there on time. And it's funny because the alarm that you set, Phil has this whole house automated, like with Google Home. So you can set the alarm, and then the alarm can ring in every room, which is pretty awesome. However, the selection of audio that he has for that alarm is pretty lame. It sounds like you're in a forest, and I actually thought I was seeing a dream because it's not loud at all. It's like
no, it's like dun, 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 dun.
And I was like, what is going on here? And I thought I was seeing a dream. I actually kind of incorporated it into my dream, but then my alarm, of course, rang. That's like a boat horn going off. So
but it's the default. It's the default alarm. Right. That's right. You could set it for whatever alarm sound, or you could set it for music and stuff like that. But I just went with the default alarm. Probably wasn't thinking exactly straight at 1:30 in the morning setting those alarms.
It was fun. We had a good time, and the only thing that I left in that hot tub really was my dignity at some point. That's about it. It was good.
I'm surprised neither one of you drowned your beep in the hot tub last night.
No.
You came close.
Thankfully, both the beeps survived yesterday. But I hope that people enjoyed it. I think that it's good to sometimes just lay back and just we're under so much pressure from work and from advocacy and family life and volunteering and
travel,
constantly under pressure. So it's just nice to kind of just lay back and chat, even though I did get fired up a couple of times last night.
I was going to say, you weren't exactly laid back the entire time.
No, I was not, because I always try to push just at least one critical message through these. If people are going to sit there and watch us in a hot tub for 2 hours drink, I figured it would be a good opportunity to try to get a good message that maybe if one person absorbs from all the people that watched last night, it's good. So I try to, squeeze something in there every time. So, and I hope I accomplished that yesterday too.
Please don't say squeeze something in as we're sitting together.
No, because then you'll have to go right back into the history of butt sex.
Yeah.
Did everybody that was watching last night remember to take notes? He said there was going to be a pop quiz.
I hope so, because I will be following up with a pop quiz, especially on the butt sex.
My wife, poor Shelly, she walked in, and I'm sitting here watching you guys in the hot tub last night, and honest to God, she walks in, she goes, "What the hell are you watching, porn?" And then she got a little bit closer to the screen, she goes, "Oh, okay, it's them." And she was fine, she turned around and walked out, laughing. I'm like, oh my God.
I wonder how many guys yesterday were watching the broadcast that, like, the girlfriend or the wife walked in and saw them watching that. That'd be pretty disturbing. Even for us, that would be pretty disturbing. And we've done some really silly things in our lifetime.
Oh, yeah, but what was funny is that a lot of people kept saying, "All right, I'm going to bed," and they kept coming.
Kept coming back.
There was like 5 people that did that last night. That was funny.
Yep, I just sat there and I watched the whole thing. It was a nice way just to be able to sit back and watch the two of you interact, bullshit with each other, connect with people that are online. That's nothing serious. Even though Dimitri went off a little bit on one of his smaller rants.
Yeah.
Which I was surprised because your blood pressure didn't actually supersede the temperature of the water.
Yeah. Thankfully, I had Phil next to me to calm me down. He was rubbing my back. I know people couldn't see it on camera. So, yeah, I try to keep it under control. I think that I get frustrated sometimes by not so much the apathy, but the fact that people want to listen, but they don't absorb. that there is a message into what I'm trying to say. I'm not putting it to demean people or to be narcissistic with them. I'm trying to get them to absorb the information, whether they agree with it or not, just to see my point of view. And in my experience, especially the last 6 months since the Altria Juul acquisition, people are missing the point. People are missing that Juul is acting. Here we go, vaping. You know, people are missing the point that I don't have a problem with the product per se, even though I do have a little bit of a problem, but I don't have a product. It is harm reduction product. I do have a problem that they are trying to be the only product on the market. And so they're using very dirty political big tobacco techniques in closed rooms across state capitals and in federal buildings, trying to say, take the spotlight and shine it on these guys. These are the root of the problem. We are the good guys, and we will do everything to work with the government to address an issue that they created. So if people don't absorb that, how are they going to be able to fight back? Or are you going to sit back and you're going to say, hey, you know, look at me. I'm just somebody that's helping people quit smoking, and you shouldn't touch me. That's just not going to work. It's just not going to work in a regulatory framework, whether we want to agree. I mean, as much as I would love for it to work, because I do believe that there is something to be said about us starting this back in 2009 and 2010, trying to help people quit smoking. But unfortunately, it is what it is. We're in classified tobacco, and here they come.
And that I find, you mentioned apathy early on. I run into that so often, and I'm nowhere near as traveled as either one of you. And you've got to see apathy written damn near everywhere you go. Now, I take that back. Thankfully, you guys are starting, and you really have been traveling to places that want your attendance. They want you to be there.
Yeah, Phil, you can talk about that.
And that's...
yeah, and then we're going to get off the vaping, because this is not supposed to be a vaping show, right?
For sure.
But, yeah, I mean, we're going to Toronto to see the new Flavor Art facility. We actually leave tomorrow. I believe we are scheduled to give the Back to Basics workshop there, or some format of it. We're going to be talking to them about their DIY initiative that we're a part of, and we're really excited about that. Then we come back here. We were asked to do the Back to Basics seminar at Vape Jam in the UK, but we were in China during that time, and it was really hard to do both at the same time, although we did try to plan that, but it didn't work out. So now we're going to be going to, after Toronto, we're going to be going to actually Madrid, from Madrid then to Germany to attend the Hall of Vape, which again, we're excited about, because we're going to be doing the Smoker Show live from there. And I believe doing the presentation as well, the Back to Basics presentation. And then we're going to Madrid to attend that show, of course, to support Inikin. And then, and I think between all that, we're also going to New Jersey to Good Guy Vapes to do the seminar again. So,
damn, that's a hell of a lot of travel.
And it's we were actually scheduled for Vegas in there too, but the Vegas show got canceled. And I know Dimitri has a bunch of travel plans in there as well, outside of vaping. He's got a very, very important girl boy band to go see with his daughter. And you know, I know his daughter is excited about it, but I truly believe that Dimitri is more excited about it. He's even got like, what is it? KRS or K something? What is it? What's
BTS.
The name? Who? BTS. Nah, I'm sorry, I'm not up on Korean boy bands, but yeah, BTS. And I know he's got a BTS sweatshirt, a little hoodie with little ears on it. So I'm really looking forward to photos of you wearing that hoodie with the little.
I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
See, if you would have said BTO, Bachman Turner Overdrive, I might have understood that. But BTS, I'm sitting here like, okay.
In fact, I came in today to the house, and my daughter says to me, "Do you understand that this is the top of my bucket list? This is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and we're only 16 days away of seeing BTS." And I have to be excited for her. I mean, this is something that she's dreamed about for the last 2 years, and we were, fortunate enough to make it happen for her. But we will be flying to New Jersey, driving into New York City for the weekend, and then going over to MetLife Stadium to watch.
That's actually twice you're in Jersey in a very, very short period of time, right? Now, I have a question because, it is on your daughter's bucket list. Did you tell her yet that it was either that BTS concert or the Greek wedding, and we're going with the BTS concert? Did you let her know?
Yes.
Okay, all right, good. And she's okay with that then, right?
Yes.
For now.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think she's going to follow after her mom and say, no, you owe me a house.
Yeah. So, no, let's not bring up the house again. I really don't need to have that on my plate right now. As I'm trying to avoid it.
Dude, she slaughtered you last night in the comments. I was sitting here going, oh, my God.
Yeah, my wife can get very, very brutal. Especially when it comes to a house.
She has one of the sharpest wits that I've ever seen, and she doesn't hold anything back.
Oh no, she's a tough cookie. That one there.
Oh my God, I've read some of the comments that she leaves on things that he'll post, and I'm like, holy shit. Okay, well, I'm not going to talk about that for a long time.
Yeah, stay very far away there, Mike. It's a good idea.
Yeah. All right, guys. Here's the 400 questions. I told Dimitri I've got this list of questions that Bill Tarling sent me.
Let me just address something because I posted some pictures from a lab yesterday and somebody was asking what it was just to get that out of the way.
Sure.
Jam Monster is one of my clients that we've been working on a new facility down in Orlando, Florida for a year now. So yesterday we're very, very close into starting production down there. And so I was part of the team that start to finish got this facility up and going. 27,000 square feet, just a beautiful clean room, 3 assembly lines, full automation from start to finish. And very, very excited for them. The guys have put a lot of work, a lot of effort to get this thing done. So that's what I was doing in Orlando. That was my work there.
That's awesome. Can I ask one question about that?
Sure.
Are they doing it more for long-range export?
I mean, it's a combination of both. They've built their brand, but they've been using co-packers for the last 3-4 years, and they've always had issues with the co-packing, meaning that they can't get their orders out on time. They move a lot of volume. They do sell all over the world, so it only made sense for them to self-integrate and start producing their own product for quality control and for some of these issues that they had with their orders. And I think that they're looking to expand, maybe do some co-packing in the future as well too, and just makes sense for a company that size to do it all in-house. It just gives them more control over the final product. And I'll happily say, because of the influence that I've had with them, that they will be launching 12 milligram for their existing SKUs that, they've registered them, they just didn't have them on the market because there wasn't demand. But we keep hearing that it hasn't been demand, but I think I convinced them enough to launch 12 milligrams. So very, very excited.
That is fantastic. I've been watching that and I saw the pictures and I wondered, and I kind of put 2 and 2 together. I was a little slow about it, but at first when I saw all those pictures, I'm like, holy shit. And they're doing that in the U.S. All right. That's enough of that.
Well, just to understand, my company is called Global Vapor Consulting, and I work with a few liquid manufacturers here. Very, very picky with the people that I work with for regulatory framework and stuff like this, So,
well, I can imagine that you're only going to work with people that actually give a damn, that are paying attention, that are following the rules.
So yeah, enough of that.
Yep.
You hung your fan. You hung your fan.
Well, not only did I hang my fan.
Does it work? Look at you. I don't know where I'm going to put mine. I really don't have a good spot for it here.
Who else hangs a fan and the first thing that they put on there is you?
Ah, look at that.
And it's Modi.
It's pretty amazing. It really is. I can just watch it, just look at it all day. I'm going to actually put it and mount it in my fireplace.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So you're not going to have any fire. I'm just going to have looking at Phil Busard vape. I think
you can put it on. You can put it over your bed. This way, you and your wife can enjoy it.
That's true. Yeah. That is true.
All right, here comes some odd questions, and I'm going to start with the same question, and this will plug it for all time. If there was a cloud comp between Snoop Dogg and Steven Tyler, who would win?
Snoop Dogg.
Oh, by far Snoop Dogg. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, Snoop has perfected the art of French inhale and O's, and yeah, his weed experience, absolutely. He's got a G pen on the market as well too. He has a vaporizer, weed vaporizer on the market. That's just not even close of a contest. Old man Tyler would be way, way behind.
All right, Phil.
Yes.
How do you like riding with Dimitri in the car?
Okay. It's when I get out of the car, my ass hurts. Now you're going to say to yourself, why? Why does your ass hurt when you get out of the car? And here's why.
Phil, why does your ass hurt when you get out of the car?
Because my butt cheeks are clenched so fucking tight because I feel like I'm going to die at any moment. That's why. Like literally, when we were in Greece, because in Greece he has two phones. Okay, he's got his American phone and then he has his Greek phone. Now, I think that's going to change now because he's got one phone that's going to do both. But at one point, literally, we're driving and in the Yaris, no less, right? The Yaris.
Nothing wrong with a Yaris, baby.
That's not supposed to be traveling at those speeds anyway. And he's got the phones like this, and he's driving with his arms looking at both phones. Now, I will say this. He has actually driven me all over the world. We've always been safe. We've always gotten to where we had to go. But there is a stress level in getting there. Okay? There we go.
But did you die?
No, I didn't die. The problem... No. And let's not change that, okay? Let's just go to the next question.
What is it about you guys in toll booths when you're overseas?
Oh, boy.
What the hell?
So, here's the thing. Like, if anything even, like, just somewhat embarrassing or funny or something is about to happen, like, we both reach for the cell phones as quickly as possible. He's much better at it than I am. Sometimes I'll get it. Sometimes I'll completely miss it. Sometimes it'll be upside down. But he's definitely better with the social media thing. But the toll booth, I love the one in France because he literally asked me, he said, which one do I go to? I'm paying, I forget what it was. It was either cash or credit, whatever. He says, which one do I go to? And I said, oh, that one. Like, I can speak French, right? Like, I can't. And I just guessed, and I guessed wrong, which led to comedy, and you got to enjoy it.
It was a lot of fun.
You once had a complimentary congratulations on being married in your hotel room.
Yep. Hold on.
My question is, did you have a pastor do that, or was it like a drive-through fucking wedding?
Elvis did it.
Elvis.
Yeah, Elvis. It was really funny because we've done this quite a few times, but not to the extreme level that it happened in the Hyatt. Okay, we've done this one time. We were traveling to Birmingham, UK. We were in business class, and we get on the plane, and there's two stewards. There's a really good-looking woman that's one of the stewardess, and then there's a guy that happens to be gay. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. So the girl asked us, what are you guys doing? So I just jokingly said, I mean, with a serious face, like I always do, I said, we just got married and we're going on our honeymoon. So the guy heard us, and all of a sudden, 2 minutes later, he breaks out of the galley with a bottle of champagne and two glasses and just pops the bubbly. All the stewardess are there saying congratulations. And at that point, Mike, once you've committed to that, there's no turning back. We couldn't back out at that point and just say you're joking. I mean, it put a lot of effort into that.
So who sashayed through the weekend?
What?
Who sashayed? You both didn't walk straight. Who sashayed?
No. Well, we can't disclose that, really. I mean, that's really private information.
We're going to save that for the book.
But the best one was at the Hyatt Hotel in Dallas. We were traveling to China, and the flight got canceled. So we stayed one night at the Hyatt Hotel in the Dallas airport, which is a very, very nice hotel. We had a nice room overlooking the runway, and we just were kind of tired, so we figured we'd just order in room service. So we called. We were like a couple salads or sandwiches, or I don't remember what we ordered. But the girl that brought them came into the room and put it on the table. And she was just very sweet, very nice, asked us what we were doing. And once again, I said, we just got married and we're going to China on our honeymoon. you know, with a strip. Phil was laying down on the bed. I mean, it kind of looked like we were married, to be honest with you. So she was like, "Oh, that's really sweet, very nice," and she leaves the room, and I thought that was the end of it. Nope. About 10 minutes later, she comes back to the room, knocks on the door. She's holding the silver tray that has 2 glasses of like a sparkly drink and a tray of cookies, like various cookies. And on that tray, there is a congratulations card that says, "Congratulations on your marriage. Enjoy your honeymoon." And it's signed by all the employees in the service department of the Hyatt Hotel, like everyone that was on staff, like the people that were working in the kitchen, the maids, the people that were delivering the food. And once again, Mike, you know, once you commit to that level of joke, there's
no
only
going
one thing
back.
to do, and that is just go with the flow. You know, it was really, really sweet of them.
That's the actual photo right there.
Absolutely, yes.
Oh my God.
It was very nice of them too, and the cookies were delicious.
But look, I love the way he said Mr. and Mr. Agrafiotis.
I know, it's crazy.
Is that politically correct or what?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it is. I mean, listen, I thought it was very sweet of the hotel to do that. I actually gave them a 5-star review and mentioned this as it actually, you know, happened. But I think what you can take away from this is that we can't set something like this up. You can't make it up. This actually happened in reality. I mean, this is not something that we planned ahead of time. It just happened, you know.
Phil,
I will say this though. There are times, and we've both said it, that I wish we just had a body cam that just rolled 24/7, because you know there's a lot of stuff that we do capture. But there's a lot more stuff that we don't capture.
And there's a lot of stuff that we can't capture.
I can only imagine. If you guys are willing to sit in a hot tub for 2 hours and drink and tell stories, and God knows what you guys get into when you're on the road.
It's great. It was great. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff. It's
a lot of fun. It's a lot of ball busting. It's a lot of just really us enjoying each other's company, but also getting on each other's nerves and just, you know, going at it sometimes too.
Do you guys really do that?
What's that?
Do you guys really do that? I mean, do you get on each other's nerves and you'll look at each other and say, "Go fuck yourself"?
Yeah. Oh God, yeah. Oh. Absolutely. I mean, it's just like a married couple. It really is.
Like an old married couple. Yeah.
I think that, you know, it's only natural if you spend as much time as you with another person, no matter who that person is, it's going to happen. And to be fair, I've spent more time, and I feel the same the last 4 or 5 years in a hotel room than I have spent with my wife. So, you know,
easily.
Yeah, it's going to be, there's going to be times. The great thing about us is that we know each other's limits and we can back off, and you know, an hour later we'll have a beer or whatever, or a shot of Jack, and it's done. We don't hold it in, which is a true testament to our friendship, for sure.
There have been times where, you know, I've had to approach Dimitri and say, "Hey, it wasn't fair the way you just talked to me," or "It wasn't fair that you did this, and it wasn't, you know, you could have done this better. Maybe you hurt my feelings," or whatever. And, you know, same thing goes for him. But it's better that that we discuss it. Like if it happens and we're angry, you know, just like you always say, you don't want to go to bed angry, right? That's kind of how I feel. And I think it's how he feels too. We don't want to hold a grudge. Now, there was one time in band camp where we did break up. We broke up for, it was several weeks, right? Yeah. And that was when the whole
big tobacco thing was going on.
Big tobacco thing, and we were accused of being big tobacco, and we were accused of trying to corner the market with a pod system, which, by the way, a closed pod system, and which, by the way, we still haven't put out a closed pod system. We probably should have.
I think at the time there was a lot of pressure from the Vaping Legion, from Stefan Didak, and some of these other, you know, just, you know, cancers of this industry at that time that were really coming after me and Phil, claiming that our affiliation with VTA and our affiliation was we had developed this evil scheme to make sure that mouth to lung is the only style of vaping, and we are only going to sell closed pod systems, which is kind of ironic because everybody's using pod systems now. And we still don't have a closed pod system on the market. But I think that pressure, Phil is very sensitive as well too, and Phil is the type of person that wants to make everybody happy. It's just his personality. I mean, this is a guy that was a DJ, right? So DJs want to make sure the crowd is pumping and having a great time, and his online persona is the same way too. And I think that it got down to Phil questioning even my decision to leave Spada at the time and join VTA. And I think that kind of put, when Phil questioned me on that, like my integrity or my belief of how we're going to save this industry, I think it really, really bothered me. It really hurt my feelings. But listen, at the end of the day, I understand that the pressure was just immense. I mean, people were making videos, even people that are close to us, like Scott Taylor, friends of ours, were questioning our commitment to this industry since 2009.
That's crazy. That is kind of crazy. It is a testament to your friendship that the two of you, the right way to put it is the two of you are adult enough to be able to have any kind of an argumentation and say, now let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Well, that's really important. I mean, that is so important. That's an important, thing to do in any relationship, male, female, husband, wife, friends, don't let it fester. Get it out, discuss it, and move beyond it, right?
And we've gotten a lot better at that as well too. Even that was a little bit difficult at the beginning because it is something. It is a sensitive subject, and I think we've gotten to the point now where I think that we're more prone to just discuss it right off the bat and just get it over with and put it behind us. But it doesn't happen as often as
No, it really doesn't. But Dimitris is a stubborn prick at points. Yeah. That let me tell you something. That Greek personality, that Greekness that he had. I don't know if you noticed that, but he is Greek. Is
definitely,
man. I tell you what, the boy can hold a grudge.
Yeah,
he really can.
Okay, now you're talking about him being Greek. Obviously, you being Italian, your temper has got to be astronomical at times.
It is.
Well, okay, so let's put it this way. Like when you say that Dimitris is Greek and I'm Italian,
yep.
Dimitris Greek. I mean, he came from Greece, right?
Yes.
I'm Italian because you go back several generations. My relatives came from Italy. Dimitri can speak Greek. I can't speak Italian. But I understand where you're going with the temper because he's got a temper. I've got a temper. I think at times I'm less able to control my temper than he is. Would you agree with that? Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've watched both.
And that's one of the main reasons why, amongst other things, why I don't get that involved with advocacy the same way he does. Because when he goes through something, he can talk through it and he can be professional about it and he can, even facing adversity, he can get through that. Whereas I can't. I'm going to tell somebody to go fuck themselves. That's the difference, right?
Yeah. You have to sometimes, especially in this industry, because there's so much misinformation, Mike. There's so much misinformation. And I understand that there's YouTubers out there that are trying to get involved and trying to. Advocacy is a lot of hard work. It's a lot of reading and understanding law, understanding what the players are doing. And I appreciate the fact that a lot of people want to get that information out there to their subscriber base or to the people that follow them, or whether they're influencers or Instagrammers. But the truth remains that a lot of these people are putting wrong information out there, and then business owners are listening to them, taking it word for word. And I think this, in my opinion, honest to God, I think this is one of the biggest problems that our industry has. Nobody knows what the hell is going on. And nobody's willing to pay or to invest into a group to be able to get the correct information, whether it be a state, local group, or whether it be a federal association, that you can actually directly talk to some of these professionals. I talk to these professionals all the time. And I also mingle and interact with big tobacco and with big vapor companies and small vapor companies. I always absorb and listen and chatter and see what's going on. So I try to not react in a way that's like, just go fuck yourself. I'm trying to react in a way where just try to absorb what I'm telling. And I'm having a difficult time doing it. It's one of the reasons why I've backed off a lot on advocacy, especially on the federal level. I am just focusing on Tennessee to kill these bills here this year, quietly in the back rooms, like everybody should be doing, and maybe retire from my state association at 21 and 0 after 5 years of volunteering. So we'll see what happens.
Wow. Here's an odd question. Before the two of you ever met face to face, when did you become aware of each other as an online presence, or how did that happen?
Oh, yeah. I don't remember like exactly how it happened, but I mean, I tell the story all the time. Somebody basically got a hold of me and said, you should go check out this guy on YouTube. He does videos and he calls himself the Vaping Greek. And so I said, all right, I'll go check him out. And I checked him out. And the first thing I thought to myself was, how do you even understand this guy with his fucking accent? Like, I don't get it. But I mean, really, that's how it started for me. Somebody told me about it, and I went to watch him. And then I don't remember. I guess we just emailed each other at that point, right?
Yeah, I think you sent me a message on Facebook. I mean, I don't remember exactly the detail, but I think it was a message on Facebook, and you're like, hey, I saw one of your videos, and it looks kind of like we're vaping the same kind of style, and we have kind of the same style, and at the time there were not a lot of reviewers, Mike. I mean, just a handful. And what me and Phil were trying to do is, for our kind of generation, to try to put out some journey videos. It was more, I wouldn't call them reviews at the time. I would call them, this is our journey through vaping. And our journeys seemed to be very, very similar. And just right off the bat from that first message, I went and started watching his videos. I appreciated the work that he put into the videos. I did realize that what he was seeing on a device based on the tech specs, I was seeing the same thing on a device based on a feel spec, meaning that I was vaping and I was getting the same results. What he was doing, he was putting it to the test and getting the same results. So we just started collaborating in private, meaning, hey, I got a lot of there was not releases like they are now. Every 2 days there's a new product on the market. Back then, a product would take, 6 months to come out. So we would most of the times get a prototype. We would work it, we would vape it, and then we would communicate privately. It's like, hey, what do you think about this? And what do you think about that? And I found this. Did you find that? And I would say 99% of the time, we're dead on. I mean, exactly the same feelings on how stuff was performing. So it just quickly evolved into that kind of a relationship. And then I think that what we started doing, I was doing a show called the Vape Team, the original Vape Team back then. And we came up with a skit. We were going to do a wrestling type dual review of the Anakin iTaste, which was a square starter kit battery. And so we started making all these playful videos against each other. Like, I did a video with these glasses and rings on, like I'm a boxer and I'm about to enter in the ring with Phil. And then Phil did one with a belt. And that's, I think that was the ignition of the Vape Bromance thing, right? And it's kind of evolved through our videos back and forth and ball busting online and Photoshop pictures, and it kind of evolved into the friendship that we have now, and the now infamous Vape Bromance tag.
You gotta love that too, because it's just watching you guys. I think a lot of people would probably be in the same boat as I am. If I'm having a really shitty day, and one of you is online and the other one pops in, my day gets better.
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. Oh my God.
I don't even know if you'll be able to hear the audio on this, but
you're calling me technical while you're practical. I know you have the entire fake team in your corner, but let me tell you something, brother. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter if I'm right or if you're right. It doesn't matter if the eye taste is good or if it's bad. As long as people take those dirty, smelly, disgusting cigarettes and just crush them up, crush them like I'm going to do to you, brother. I'm going to do it to you. Because remember, what are you going to do when Busard mania comes crashing down on you?
That was so good. That was so good. And I think what was really important for us as well too is that I slowly got I got my family involved in some of the videos I was doing. I got my kids involved in the videos I was doing. So we quickly realized too that a lot of our upbringing and our families are similar, and how we were raised was similar. There was a lot of similarities and our lifestyles as well too. You know, the ethics that we were brought up with, and so it was just natural that we just became very, very good friends. And then, of course, the first time that we met, it was like, fireworks. It was kind of like, Bo Derek movie, just running across and seeing each other. And then it just glued from there on, and just evolved, and it keeps growing. I think I find out every time that I talk to Phil about something about him that I didn't know before.
Yeah. And maybe some stuff you didn't want to know too.
Phil, I saw a picture. Bill Tarling had sent me pictures as well, and I put it in the opening stretch. You with this big blue rope in your hand, and if I'm not mistaken, that's on the ship the Northwestern.
Yeah.
How the hell did you get on that boat?
So it was Matt Bradley. Okay, Matt Bradley. Obviously, he's a vapor, but he's also a member of the Deadliest Catch, and he saw the crab juice review that I did because back then and still today, I was a huge fan of the Deadliest Catch television program, and he got a hold of me. Because he was involved with vaping. He was opening up a vape shop. He asked if I would go to the grand opening of the vape shop, and I said absolutely yes. Wow. And when I was there, he took me on the Northwestern. We didn't go out, but it was what a cool experience, to be on that boat. It would be like me stepping on the Starship Enterprise, right? It would be like, it's kind of like weird, but it's the same kind of idea. The interesting thing about that meeting was, like, my goal was to interview him about vaping, right? And we were going to talk about him, how he was involved with vaping, but I couldn't stop talking about the Deadliest Catch, right? I couldn't stop talking about his experience with the show, how, the craziest thing he's ever seen on the boat, like all of that stuff. That's what I was most fascinated with. And I tell you what, he probably gets those questions
every day.
Like constantly. And he was like so nice. He just took the time to answer every one of my questions as if he was getting asked them the first time. Just a really cool guy, and nice enough to take me on the boat. It was a cool experience.
That's kind of cool. Guys, we're going to stop for a minute, take a break for our sponsor slot, because without our sponsor, Smoke Free Radio couldn't do what it does, and I sure as hell couldn't do what I do. So we'll be right back in just a couple of minutes.
Hey now, this is Dimitris, Smoke Free Radio, reminding you to please show some love to our wonderful sponsors. Without them, there would be no Smoke Free Radio, and they are as follows. All the way from Florida, Moon Mountain Vapor, with locations in Florida, and their liquid available for wholesale and retail, moonmountainvapor.com. Some of the best custards and tobaccos on the market from the Brickwills Vaping Company. The lovely Shell with a vapor bar, locations in Texas, Virginia, and West Virginia. And of course online at thevaporbar.com. And who says you can't have award-winning e-liquid without cartoon characters? That's exactly what you're going to get at theplumeroom.com. And finally, of course, the Vaping Advocate magazine that has generously provided the telephone lines for you to communicate with us. Thank you for your support. And finally, for you, the listener, don't forget to check out the coupons and codes page on Smoke Free Radio. Pick up some e-liquid and save some money. From all of us here at Smoke Free Radio, thank you for your continued support.
Hey folks, P. Busardo here, and you're listening to Vaping and the Mic with Mike Peterson.
Coming back from our short break, this evening I have two gentlemen that everybody in the vaping industry has an understanding who they are. Dimitris Agrafiotis and Mr. Phil Busardo. Guys, I am so glad that you are here. Honest to God.
Thanks for having us.
Oh, thank you. And how much did you pay that Phil guy to do that promo for you? Was that expensive?
I had to sign a waiver that I would never talk about that.
Okay.
I might be able to pay it off by the time I'm like 74.
I got to get him to do me one too. Cool.
Honest to God, I really appreciate you doing those. I use them all the time on the show.
Good.
I'm
happy.
It adds that nice, eloquent touch and makes my show feel classy for some reason.
Aw, I was cleaning out my hard drive the other day, and I ran across some prompts I did for work back in the day, and man, like I kind of miss doing some of the voiceover work. It was fun doing some of that stuff.
It's one thing that I enjoy doing when I have the time and I have the capability, you know. Mm-hmm. And now that I've got all this equipment, it makes it really a lot of fun.
Sure.
I've looked at getting into doing audiobooks, but I just can't commit that kind of time to it yet.
Yeah,
because those things will take.
And you definitely have the voice for it.
Do you know the funny thing? About 3 years ago, I came within a hair of actually. They had open auditions for a nighttime DJ at one of the larger radio stations down in Youngstown, Ohio. And I came within a hair. My wife, she told me, she goes, "You really ought to go try, you know?" And I'm like, "Honey, I work at night." She goes, "But you'd love it." And I turned it down. I never went. And then Bill Tarling comes, and we were just bullshitting one day. He goes, "Well, you know that Dimitri gives time to people." And he used to. I said, "Does he still do it?" He goes, "Well, I really don't know." He goes, "I got in touch with Dimitri, and 24 hours later, he's showing me how to run the software to do the smoke-free radio, and it just grew from there." So, and I found that I love it. Yeah. Honest to God, absolutely love it.
You said you were thinking about doing books on tape. You know, that's something that I would actually enjoy doing too. But like you said, it's a time commitment. You know, it'd be funny as hell, Dimitri doing books on tape. Wouldn't that be funny? Because like people would listen to it and they would be like, "What the fuck did he just say?" And they would have to rewind it and listen to it again and rewind it and listen to
it. Now you know that somewhere along the line he would slip and swear, right?
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, when he's not thinking about it and he swears in Greek.
Yeah, and I found out that he thinks in Greek and he does math in Greek. That's always fascinating to me. Like, you know, somebody who knows two languages, like what goes on in the mind when they're thinking. What language do they think in? And he actually does. He told me that he thinks in Greek and then he translates it to English.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's got to take a lot of brain power. And if you're into something that's seriously heavy or deep, that's got to give you a headache after a little while.
Yeah, mostly math, because I learned math in Greek first before so I always do conversions in Greek in my head and then just put the answer out in English. But yeah, I mean, at this point, you know, I've lived half my life here, half my life in Greece. Well, probably more than half my life in the United States. But I've been able to, like, if I speak Greek, you wouldn't know that I live in the States. And when I speak, well, I mean, most of the times when I speak English, you wouldn't know that I was Greek, except when I'm in China, which I use Greeklish at that point. But yeah.
I noticed both of you have a handheld translator. How are those things working out for you?
It didn't really work out the way that we had actually planned it to work out.
No.
But yeah, Chinese is a very, very difficult language, and it's very difficult because the whole way that everything is worded reverse. So sometimes when you're trying to make a joke and it's not translated the correct way, it's very, very awkward because they don't get it.
No, they really don't. It's an interesting language because it's very, very difficult to translate it programmatically, which is why the translators have a big problem, and why when we see the Chinese trying to write in English, because they're using translators a lot of the times, that it comes out like Chinglish, and it's funny to us. It's a very I mean, we've been going there for 5-6 years now, And I think we all know all of like 5 words, and they're for the most part pretty much useless. But it's tough. It's a very, very difficult language.
How many air miles do you guys fly in a year?
I fly about 100 and last year I did 170,000 miles.
Oh my God.
Yeah. This year I think it'll be, I mean, it'll probably be close to it again. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
And I was probably close to that because I made executive platinum, right?
Yeah. I think you did like 110,000 last year. I mean, keep in mind that I go to Greece 3 or 4 times a year for my business as well too, which is one trip that Phil generally does not do with me. So that adds about 50,000 miles there back and forth. So,
all right, Dimitri, if they made a movie about bromance, who would you get to star for Phil?
Oh boy, that's a good one. That's a very, very good question. I actually have thought about this before.
How the hell do you think about that? What, like, seriously?
I'm gonna tell you why. Because me and Phil have plans on writing an all-tale book about the industry of the last 10 years. There's a lot of stuff that we can't talk about today or now in general, but I think at some point that people would be really interested to read a book about some insider stuff that has happened to us over the last 10 years. More kind of like, I don't want to call it a drama book, but a lot of the information that simply because of NDAs and because of the fragile nature of the industry, we can't really talk about now. But we've actually, we're working on it. We're going to be publishing this book. It'll probably take a couple of years for it to come out.
All right, I'll buy one.
Yeah, I think it'd be very, very interesting to hear not just our journey, but, going from where we were, me being in the restaurant business all these years, Phil being in the technology sector of his company since out of college, really, and how we transitioned into the vaping industry full time. But we've had a lot of bad stuff happen to us as well too that we really can't, talk about in public. We've had ideas stolen. We've had people, that it's just a lot of stuff. So,
and by the way, let me just jump in here. You find it interesting here because, like Dimitri just says, we have had a lot of bad stuff happen to us, yet you never hear about it. You don't hear us creating drama. Right. You don't hear us, talking about that just to get views or just to get subscribers.
No, it's one thing I've noticed. It is conspicuously absent in what the two of you do.
It's on purpose. It's not that.
Oh no!
I mean, listen, we could do videos that would drum up a lot of views and a lot of interest and a lot of chatter, and it's going to throw a lot of people under the bus as well too. Even prominent people in this industry that are holding high court right now. But I just don't think. I mean, from an advocacy standpoint, I think that would deter our effort, especially at the level that we are now, in the fragile state that we are now. And I just don't think that this is our style. Mine and Phil's style is. We have our work time where we're trying to be educational and professional, and then we have our bromance time.
Yeah,
where we try to have fun and have a good time. And we're trying not to blend those two things in, and we're trying really at this point to just I think it would make a hell of a fucking book. Honestly, it's for people to read. Yeah. So, but I did think about, because going back to your question, I did think, well, what if we made this book and eventually made it into a Netflix documentary or film at some point? So ironically enough, I think that, a younger Robert De Niro would probably be a really good pick for Phil. Even Ray Liotta would make a good pick for.
Oh man, yeah, buddy, yeah.
I've thought about this before, honestly. So
all right,
either or.
Phil, who would you get to play Dimitri?
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Jennifer Connelly.
No, I clearly, there's only one choice, and that would be George Clooney.
Really?
Oh, that's very, very sweet of you. I thought you were gonna say Brad Pitt, but that's okay. I'll take George Clooney.
Well, I was shooting for Brad Pitt myself, but no, I think George Clooney with a Greek accent would be right there.
That would be great, wouldn't it?
You better educate him on butt sex then.
Sorry, I'm sure he knows plenty of that.
Okay, now. Because Bill added this one. These are a lot of Bill's questions coming up.
All right.
Dimitri, who would you get to play Phil's wife?
Oh boy. I think Sarah Jessica Parker that's a good one because she's blonde, and I think that would be a good addition. Also,
Ivanka Trump.
Yeah, I know you'd love that. She's not an actress. Well, I mean, she's an actress.
I don't care.
In the political world. So yeah, I think Sarah Jessica Parker is a good one. Yeah, for sure.
Phil,
I think she would match up really good.
All right, I know who, but I'm not gonna remember the name, and I should remember the name. Who was the girl in My Cousin Vinny?
Oh God, yeah.
You know who I'm talking about?
I can find it right now.
Yeah. More of a Greek than an Italian version, but she was a wiry little thing, and I think she would make a good Connie.
Marissa Tomei.
Yes. There
Marissa
you go.
Tomei.
That's pretty good, right?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I think Connie would appreciate that.
Yep.
that's kind of awesome.
She does have that firecracker in her for sure.
Yeah, there you go.
As we've determined many times.
Honest to God, just the things that I have read online, Dimitri, your wife is a real pistol.
Yeah. I mean, she's a Chicago Greek girl, that doesn't take shit from anybody. She grew up rough, in a middle class family. She went through a lot of turmoil. She lost a brother at a very young age, and she's just a Yankee. She just does not. She holds her own ground, which really, to be honest with you, really helps our situation because we travel so much. So you need a strong woman that can independently take control and not just require that constant, grabbing on and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, you pissed her off though.
I remember when you guys were here, and she went to your place in Greece, and there was a picture of the two of you on the refrigerator. And
that was partially set up for her.
And she had this look on her face like, what the fuck? And just, she put it on there, big WTF, a question mark. That it was funny, and yet at the same time, I'm like, I'm not sure I'd want to be a guy to knock on the door right at that point in time.
Yeah.
No, that was funny as anything. Okay, which of the two of you believes you are more fashionable than the other?
Oh, me, for sure.
That's a great question. And it clearly Phil has no fashion sense at all. No, I'll take that back. Phil, if he wants to dress up to go out, like he will pimp because he's DJ Miami. He knows how to dress and impress if he wants to. Problem is now moving to Florida, he's gotten really laid back with his choice of clothes.
But still very stylish.
His shirts are really going into that Hawaiian retiree style. No. His choice of shoes is completely despicable, in my opinion. Not only do I say that, but a lot of people in this industry have backed me up on this. His choice of shoes is very, very, very horrible. For me, especially, I always dress in a certain style. I've always done this in this industry.
Get boring.
Phil will tell you, since the first Vapor Cons and Vape Bashes, I always, showed up with a button-down shirt and jeans or dress pants. That's just how I dress in general in my life. I'm not just a t-shirt guy. So I think that I'm more fashionable.
It's funny that because like I don't think I have ever seen Dimitri's legs. Now, let's frame that correctly, because in the hotel room I see Dimitri's legs all the time because he's always in his underwear, right? But outside of the hotel room, I've never seen the man in shorts. I don't think I've ever seen you in shorts outside of the bathing suit last night.
I just don't dress like that. But the fact that I'm comfortable enough, that's just how we grew up in our family, right? I mean, I'm comfortable enough. As soon as we get into the hotel, we don't stay a lot in the same room, but when we do stay in the same room, I just drop my pants and just walk around in my underwear. I'm just comfortable with that. I don't see anything wrong with it. In fact, when we were in China, he said, come over here. We were packing our bags to leave, and he said, come over here and get something. And I was just in my underwear. I just got out of my room and just walked over to his room in my underwear and a t-shirt, just get some stuff out of the room. And plus, he hadn't seen me in my underwear in a few days, so I felt that he was missing that. So, yeah.
That's got to be more of a universal kind of thing, because I used to travel quite a bit for a job that I had and wound up working with the same guys. There was a hardware guy and a software guy. And we would be on the same job months on end. And he called, and he goes, come over. And as a matter of fact, it was September 11th when he had called and said, get your ass over here. And like that, open the door of the hotel, walk down the hall in my underwear, and knock on his door, and never think twice about it. And here he is in his underwear. You know, you don't think about it. No, God,
You
what's
can't do
this?
that anymore now because everybody's so sensitive and everybody's like, oh my God, sexual harassment.
There it is.
Everybody's just turning into like, you can't even post anything online before you offend somebody. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I don't care, you know, but I get it, you know.
This is my favorite part right here. Watch this right there. Isn't that so cute? Watch right here, right there. It's adorable. There it is again.
Thank you very much for.
It's that 1940s kick. Okay, here's an odd one. Are you guys going to have a rematch in a dart contest?
No, as you know, it's funny that you say that because we were just at a bar last night, as a matter of fact, and it was like this pool hall, and they had dart boards there. And I said, you know what, we should play darts again, but no, fuck you, you cheat. That's what I told him. That's what I said.
Yeah.
Right?
Look, we're very competitive. I think Phil is 100 times more competitive than me. I play off that competitiveness, act like I'm very, very competitive. So I try to manipulate a little bit of the rules just because I know it aggravates him more than anything else. So I don't want him to get the full satisfaction of a win. He did win in darts. There's no doubt about it. But to be fair, if you technically take it, it's basically like, what can I say? Like the Trump collusion with Russia. It didn't happen. But technically, if you look at the details, there's probably something there. So this is exactly what I do with the darts. Like technically, if we take it word by word, I was right. But he did win. But I have to rub it in. I can't give him the satisfaction to flat out say I won. So.
Yeah, and that's something about Dimitri too. Like if there's something that he knows that bugs me, if like there's like that kink in the armor, that's where he focuses all of his fire until I can't take it anymore. That's absolutely him. Yeah.
Which one of you is more anal about being on time for appointments or when you have to be somewhere?
Ooh, that's a tough one because we're both really similar. I would say maybe me.
I think I'm very stickler about being on time.
Yeah, me too.
I just don't like waiting. I think Phil takes it to another level when there's flights involved. This really pisses me off. Okay, like our flight's at 8 o'clock in the morning. Phil wants to be at the airport at 2 o'clock in the morning. You know, like what he freaks out when he's traveling with me. He does not have to worry about anything. It's like I have a child. Have you seen the children that you put a little rope to him and you just like carry him around like they're a dog? It's exactly how I handle him. I'm like, Phil, just follow me. I got everything under control. I know where the customs is. I know where the hotel is. I know where the Ubers are. Don't worry about anything.
God.
It's an absolutely true story. That what he said is 100% accurate, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. When I travel by myself, okay, I pay attention. I focus. I know where I'm going. I know what I have to do. I know where I got to be. And I know that my times. When I travel with him, the mind completely turns off. It completely shuts off because I know he's got it under control.
Yeah,
I know all I have to do is follow him.
traveling arrangements and stuff like that. You know, I'm very good at finding flights and hotels so we can meet up together and stuff like that. So I handle most of that stuff. But it really pisses me off when we're like, you know, like the day that we were at the customs in France. Our flight was at 8:45 in the morning. We left the hotel at 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, Phil, he's like, no, we got to get there and make sure that we know. And I'm like, dude, so we get the airport, the counter for us to check in is not even open yet. So we're stuck on the side, sitting on a bench, you know, for an hour and a half until I was like, this is what I get. This is what I get with you.
I tell you, one thing I hate more than anything is rushing through an airport or feeling like I'm going to miss a flight, right? And I think that's really why I am the way I am when it comes to that.
Yeah.
What was the worst flight you have ever been on?
Oh boy, there's been a lot of those.
Really?
There was the one to London that they had to turn around, right?
It was France. We were going to France from Dallas. That one was a tough one because it was bad all the way around from the get-go. Phil was delayed coming out. What I try to do is I try to meet us in points because we both fly American Airlines. So we both are non-hub airports. Fort Myers, obviously, you know, geriatric airport. I'm in Chattanooga. It has 4 gates. So we always have to connect to Charlotte. So I try to pick Charlotte or DFW when we're going internationally so we can meet there and then fly together. So on this particular day, his flight got delayed coming out of Fort Myers. I'm already in Dallas. The flight's overbooked. Our seating arrangements are not correct. I'm texting him back and forth. He's like, I have to get to Dallas. You go ahead and get in the plane. He's running behind. I get into the plane. They change my seat. They put me in a different seat. He finally makes it like borderline to get into the plane, sweaty. And Phil sweats a lot too. I have to put that out there. I mean, he sweats really, really bad.
I do.
And so he gets to the plane. He's sweating. We finally say, "Oh, like, okay, at least we're on our way there." We take off from Dallas. We're flying over North Carolina. And all of a sudden, the pilot comes on and says, well, ladies and gentlemen, we have a problem that will not allow us to fly over the Atlantic. So we're going to turn around and go back to Dallas. So we had to turn around, fly back to Dallas, literally get off the plane. They had to bring another 777.
No. Let's add to that. As we're flying back to Dallas,
correct,
they're going through the emergency landing procedures with us too, okay? Which is not a fun thing to listen to.
It was not fun. The crash position, and we're seeing like stewardess panic, and they're going left and right. And I'm like, okay, well, I mean, I'm just going to die with my buddy Phil Busard. This is the end of the Vape Bromance here. But everything was fine. That's probably one of the worst ones that we've had. The other one that I can bring up that was pretty rough, and it wasn't really about the flight, but it is customs in China. Phil, in general, has problems with TSA and screenings and stuff like that in general. Now, amplify that times 1,000 where you're in a foreign country, nobody speaks English, and you possibly could go to prison for the rest of your life. So, Phil, the first trip that we took to China, we're crossing the border from Hong Kong into mainland China, and they pull our car to the side. They take us out. They take our bags, and they run them through screeners. So I cleared, go through. I think Brandon was with us from Evolve. He clears, he goes through. The driver goes through. They pulled Phil. Now, listen, Mike, I love Phil. I really do. But I am no use to him if I'm arrested with him. So I just walked away. I just left. I sent him back to the car. And they kept Phil in there for like 15, 20 minutes. And I really thought that they're gonna arrest him. Thankfully, nothing happened. And the same thing happened in our trip that we just got back from China. They pulled them over at customs again, and they put us in a room. I had cleared. I went through the gate, and the officer did not let me sit there. I had to, go back. And then I hear all of a sudden a pissed off Phil going, D. I know he's mad. When he says D, I know that's like people starter management team knows that this is silver alert, right? This is, you got. So I run back down there. They put us in a room, and literally nobody speaks English in there, Mike. And there's all these people with their bags open, and they're going through their stuff. And it was really, it's hot. It's China. It's hot. And I think those 2-3 are notable.
The ones that I remember getting up late for a flight coming out of London. And literally throwing all of our stuff in the suitcases, not showering. Birmingham, right? Rushing to the airport, running to the gate, and when we finally got to the gate, they canceled the flight. There was that one. There was one, I can't remember. This was just recently. This was me myself. I forgot what event I was traveling to, but I fell asleep. I fall asleep pretty quick on the planes. And when I woke up, this is what I woke up to. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be making an emergency landing. That is like literally what I woke up to. And I turned to the person next to me and I said, what did they just say? They said, we have to make an emergency landing. There's a guy like 10 rows back who's having a heart attack. And when she said that, I thought to myself, oh, thank God. But I mean, like, yeah, I feel bad for him, but thank God we're all not going to die, right? Yeah. And then there's the small flights the puddle jumpers that we took to Canada, where the person comes on the plane. This person loads the luggage, comes on the plane, goes through the safety procedures, and then goes into the cockpit and flies the plane. That's a fun flight too. And then there was the one where we're on the tarmac, and this is exactly what I hear from the pilot. Ladies and gentlemen, we're having a small problem with our engines. We're going to go ahead and shut those down and try to restart them. We're going to be doing that right now.
Oh,
and
my
God. The whole plane goes black. Everything goes silent, and then everything comes back on, and he says, okay, we're okay. We're going to be leaving now. I'm like, I hope we're okay, So... Yeah, there have been some interesting flights.
Yeah, there have been, yeah.
The two of you had to have had more things that you can't describe that has happened. That it boggles my mind.
Yeah, and really we can't. I mean, for various reasons, obviously, but there's been a lot of stuff that, you know, I turned to Phil and I said, man, I wish we could just post this on Facebook right now, but unfortunately, yeah, it wouldn't be good for a lot of people involved. I will tell you one thing, that we traveled a lot, we stayed at a lot of places, we've had a lot of great amazing experiences. The amazing experiences overweigh by far the bad experiences that we've had, and we've been very, very privileged, and we've been very blessed and very humble to be able to do this. So even some of the stuff that's been uncomfortable at times, it doesn't stay in my memory, if that makes any sense, because multiple times me and Phil have sat down in China or in Germany or in France or in Greece or in Ireland and have looked at each other and said, man, how lucky are we to be able to do this for a living? And so that kind of overcomes everything. I can tell you one story that eventually will make it to the book. I'll give you a little bit of context of it. But one time I was in China. Phil was not with me on this trip. I was with my good friend Dan Donahue, that owns Good Karma Vapors, and my Greek partner Gregory. We were in China for work, and we went out to a bar with an owner of an electronic cigarette company. He will not be named now, but maybe in the book. And we just started drinking. And one of the things that the Chinese love about me and Phil is that they try to get us drunk, and they all fail. They fail. They
Really?
With me and Phil. I mean, we've literally sent owners of factories to the hospital from drinking, from alcohol.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that would be a great story for the book, by the way. But I'm not going to tell you that story today. Today, I'm going to tell you a different story because Phil was not there, so I can say that. So, so we're in drinking. So the owner of the, we're drinking. They're trying to get us drunk, and the owner of the factory says, "We're going to play a drinking game." Thinking that this drinking game will make us, more drunk, right? He's going to accomplish the goal. It's just a cultural thing in China. So we started drinking, playing this game, and he kept losing. The guy kept losing his own game. The game was called Tom Kill a Man. Tom Kill a Man, meaning that you can drink so much that this game can kill you, right? So we started playing. He keeps losing. At some point, he gets really, really drunk. I mean, he's just falling down, throwing ottomans. He's wasted. So at some point, I had to go to the bathroom. So this place that we were at had the room that we were in had its own individual bathroom, and it's a small bathroom. It's like an airplane bathroom, just a small, little stall. So I walk around. I get into the bathroom. And before I close the door, this owner busts into the bathroom. I mean, literally just pushes the door, comes in, closes the door, locks the door behind him, pull his pants down and his underwear down. It's a true story. I mean, Dan can verify. Pulls his pants down and looks at me right in the eyes and says to me, "Dimitri, if we are really good friends, we are going to pee together." So Mike, at this point, I had to make a determination. I'm either going to kill this guy or I'm going to have to weasel myself out of this situation that I'm in. Dan noticed something was going on because Dan came and he's outside the door. I know he's outside the door, and I'm pretty sure that if things got a little bit more feisty, Dan would have broken down the door. But I looked at him and I said, "Listen, my friend, I really love you. I appreciate your friendship, but I have," this is all I could come up with at the time, "I have a problem peeing when somebody's looking at me." So he's literally saying it's sitting naked right in front of me, Mike. This is an absolute true story. So he turns to me and he says, "We're not friends anymore." Pulls his pants up, opens the door, and storms outside. And I was like, "Oh my God, I just offended this guy." Because, the Chinese, you don't know, if this is a culture thing. I've read a lot of books on China. I've never heard of a dual pee being, the norm, I guess.
No.
Yeah. So the next day, of course, he sobered up and he didn't remember anything. But it was a very, very interesting and definitely a very challenging time for me at that point.
That is when you want me around, though, because if anybody is going to act the bouncer, that's typically me. I'll jump in there and I'll save you and I'll protect you.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But that's just one little story that we can tell because it's not going to be, I mean, I probably won't put it in the book because we're trying to keep this book to be more of me and Phil and our adventures together.
I was going to say, don't even try to tell me you're going to try to make it family friendly because that ain't going to happen.
No, that would make it no fun at all.
Family friendly at all.
Dimitri, what is one annoying habit that Phil has that drives you up the wall?
Oh my God, just one?
just one.
I think well, man, that's a tough one. I one of the things that really bothers me about Phil is that we can't drink together. It's really annoying to me. He is the type of person that wants to get there and get there quick. So he wants to do shots. And so he wants to go 0 to 60 in 30 minutes. I'm a scotch drinker, and I can drink scotch through the night. I can sit there and drink. I can drink a whole bottle of scotch, but give me 5-6 hours to sit through it. And then eventually I get buzzed or whatever, or drunk with you. Phil wants to do that same process in 30 minutes. He just wants to. He's very efficient. You know?
Yeah, right. I call that efficiency. That's correct. Yeah,
That's really, really annoying to me because I can't enjoy it. And he likes Jack. I don't like Jack. Right. So I kind of feel. It's not that I'm pissed at Phil. I'm annoyed that I can't enjoy this process with him because we enjoy a lot of things together. You know, our food, our wine, or whatever. But when it comes to that particular point, I can't participate in that. And that annoys me.
Oh, I didn't even know that. I'll slow down next time, and we'll enjoy the process together. Okay.
And then, it bothers me because he's like, "Oh, you're a pussy." You know, do a shot. And I know he wants me to participate because he wants me to get drunk with him, which is cool. I just don't like getting there that fast, and I don't like Jack. So
it's interesting. We're actually bothered by the same thing for two different reasons, right? Yeah. I want you to get there with me quicker. You want me to get there with you slower.
And especially now that I've lost some weight, it's kind of hard for me to. If I drink that fast, I'm gonna get wasted. I mean, I can hang. I just need the time to hang. And I'm the type of drinker. I've always been a Scotch drinker since a young age, and I just like enjoying, like simmering on ice Scotch and just drinking it through the night. That's just how I enjoy it. One more thing that really bothers me about Phil.
You said one thing. You did. Mike said one thing, not two.
I just want to bring this up because I think this is very, very important. I think Phil's very humble, and I'm very humble as well too. But I think a lot of people in this industry don't appreciate that Phil and what Phil has done for this industry. And I think Phil downplays it himself as well at times. I've especially in recent discussions that we've had. He's like, "Oh, I can't make videos like I used to," and I try to bring him up because I truly believe that Phil, put me aside, but Phil has helped thousands of people quit smoking. And there's value and there should be appreciation even from the new vapors that are out there that might not know who Phil is. And that bothers me. And I'm like, Phil, you are a legend in this industry, and you need to understand that you are a legend in this industry. There's nothing wrong if you're not putting out 3 or 4 videos like these, young paid reviewers are doing today. You need to stick with what we've been doing since day one and be proud of what you've done. And I think that I wouldn't call that annoying. I think I hate to see my best friend downplay the value that he has brought in this industry, because I think that he's brought tremendous and continues to do that tremendous value to the harm reduction movement.
I would agree very much that he's at that legendary status. Honestly, I believe both of you are. There are a shit ton of people that look up to you for a myriad of various reasons. Not just because you do one thing well. Both of you do a lot of things really, really well. And to the point where, for me, when I wanted to get in touch with Phil, I'm like, I sat at my keyboard for 10 minutes before I could even start to type. I'm like, what the hell am I going to say to this guy? Until I finally sent it, and it wasn't a couple of minutes, comes right back, and I'm like, damn, now what do I do?
Yeah.
Just awesome. Awesome. Both of you, I have found
about annoyance, because I'm really curious. I kind of know already, but
both of you, I have found over a period of knowing you, are so extremely approachable that it's not even funny.
Yeah,
You know?
sometimes too much.
And that to me is awesome. Because both of you, and I appreciate both of you taking time all the time, whenever, whether it's a show or just like when Phil was on the last show that I did. I didn't even give him but an hour and a half worth of notice because it was off the top of my head, and he said, "Yeah, I'll do it." That's awesome. All right, Phil. What is one thing that is irritating that Dimmy does?
It's so easy, and I know he knows what I'm going to say. First of all, I, from the bottom of my heart, I really appreciate what he just said and what you just said as well. But so the thing that bothers me the most about him also leads to the thing that I respect the most about him, which is tough, right? And it's his focus on the phone. I'm pretty sure that you knew what I was going to say there, D. There are times, as a matter of fact, just recently in China, I kind of laid into him real quick, and he didn't fire back, which maybe he realized that at that one point in time, I might have been right. He is so focused on that phone. And I feel like it's an obsession at this point, right? Just going through social media and responding to people and reposting things and just like, but it's Mike, it's constant. Like if we go out to eat, he's on the phone. If we're driving, he's on the phone. If we're talking and doing something, he's on the phone. If we're having a conversation with other people, he's on the phone. So, I don't think there's nothing that's going to happen on that phone that he can't put it aside for just 5 to 10 minutes and focus on what he's doing outside of being on that phone. But, but the thing is, the benefit of what he's doing is that he's so on top of everything. He knows exactly what's going on in this industry all the time. I don't think I've ever gone to him and said, "Hey, did you see this?" And him not turn to me and say, "Yeah, I saw it like a half an hour ago. Where have you been?" But there are times that I just wish for his own sanity's sake, right? That he would just put it aside and just enjoy himself in certain situations. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that too. It's a bit. I don't call it a habit because I think if you put context to what Phil is saying, I have 7 emails. Okay. So, I'm the executive director of the Tennessee Smoke-Free Association. So I lead the state association here. So I always have to be in contact on what's happening, especially during the session and the off season, because we have a PAC, we have a PR team, the members, the Nicole that's invaluable to me. Well, so we have that. I have that part. Then I have my consulting company, which I work with 4 or 5 different liquid manufacturers. And the most benefit that I bring to a liquid company as far as consulting, aside from the regulatory TPD, international law and stuff like that, which is what my specialty is, what I bring is that they have access to me 24/7. So the owners, their sales team, their marketing teams, all of them have access to me. So they'll send me a question, and that's basically why I'm getting paid for is they'll send me a question. Hey, I heard I got this actually from one of my clients. When me and Phil were in Vape event in New York, I heard that California banned flavors. So my job is to respond, no, trust me, if California had banned flavors, I would be the first one to tell you. So there's a bill, so I had to explain that whole thing. So I have that going on. I have the Inikin, of course, right? So I have the Inikin. I have to make sure that customer support, people are asking questions about the products. I do a lot of the marketing on Instagram. So I have to monitor that as well too. I have Liquid Puff in Greece, which is my business in Greece, which is a couple of vape shops and a distribution company there. So I have to maintain and keep eye on that as well too. I have the Vaping Greek, which is my YouTube and the Smoke-Free Radio. I have my personal email address, which I have to maintain that, and I have just the general questions that I get on a daily basis. Like people like you, Mike. I mean, nothing against you. I'm just saying, just general questions that people will say, hey, what are your thoughts on this? Or I saw that, and which happens daily, by the way. And a lot of them are valid and a lot of them are not valid, but I got to treat them both the same, you know? So it's just so much that if I stop for 4 or 5 hours, then it takes me an hour to get caught up. So I have this system that I get in and I go boom, 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 email, Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. Right? I go through this. If I see something that I can reply around the spot, I do it around the spot. That way I don't get caught up afterwards. Where, I mean, Phil's a prime example. Phil will get back home and open up his email and say, oh shit, I've got 100 emails to respond to, right? So it's for me not to get into that trap. Plus the fact that I have to be, because of my job, I have to be on top of constantly everything that's going on, whether that's marketing related, whether it's regulatory related, whether it's tobacco related, vapor related. I have to always monitor what's happening in the situation. So it's a double-edged sword for sure. I wish I could back off of it a little bit, but unfortunately I haven't been in a position. I need to hire an assistant. That's basically what it was.
Yeah. I mean, I'm legitimately concerned about your sanity and your well-being when it comes to that, right? I mean, one of amongst many the reasons why I don't do as many reviews as I used to is I just feel like I might be a little bit burnt out on the reviews, right? And, you know, you're of such value to the industry that I don't want to see you get burnt out and just kind of walk away from everything.
Yeah.
Not to mention that it would be nice if when we do go to dinner, we could have a conversation as opposed to, you know, you having your head stuck in the phone constantly.
Yeah. All right. Last 5 minutes. This is going to be going by quick. I'm going to bounce back and forth between the two of you. I'm not going to ask you the same question. You ready? Okay. Don't spend a whole lot of time thinking about these.
Yes.
Dimitri, if you could be a cartoon character for a week, who would you be?
I've always had a fascination with Popeye. I always used to like Popeye, so I would say Popeye. Easy.
Phil.
One of my favorite cartoon characters.
Yes.
What's the greatest invention of mankind?
Oh, the greatest invention? Vaping.
Yeah.
There you go. Good answer. I was waiting for him to say something else. I was going to get this little buzzer and go, man, fuck no. Dimitri, favorite movie quote. What is it?
Oh boy. Oh boy. It has to be specifically a movie?
No, movie, TV.
God, I'm gonna misquote it, but it's from the show Billions, and it was from Axelrod, and he turned around and said something along the lines that if you are not the hunter, you will be the prey. And I truly believe that that's how I live my life as well too. Yeah, it's probably misquoted, but it's from the show, which is I think is the best written TV show of all times.
Hey, I love that show. Phil, what do you have for dinner most often?
Most often, like whatever I could throw together really, really quick. I'll be honest with you. I really do like Chinese food, and if it's not Chinese food, it's some kind of chicken thighs on the grill.
Dimitri, which do you like better, sunrise or sunset?
Sunset, by far. Yeah, I'm a night guy. I do not like mornings. So yeah, sunset.
Phil, what's the last book you read?
I'm actually reading it now. I don't actually read. I'm on Amazon's Audible, books on tape, and I think it's called Extraordinary Force. It's like a space opera. That's it pretty much. But yeah, I do listen to a fair amount. Like back in the day, I used to drive around and listen to like dance music all the time. Now I kind of drive around and listen to books on tape.
Turning 50 has its benefits then.
It keeps my mind occupied.
There you go.
Yeah.
Dimitri, riding roller coasters, yes or no?
Absolutely.
Awesome. Phil?
Yes.
The way that you look at it, is the glass half empty or half full?
Half full.
Dimitri, is it criminal to wear socks with sandals?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely. That should actually be a law.
Says the Greek guy. That's how they all wear them in Greece. It's always sandals and socks.
No. Actually, that's a good proposal for a bill. Instead of banning vaping, we should ban socks with sandals.
Phil, if you had a warning label attached to your ass, what would it say?
Attached to my ass?
Or anywhere on your body. If you had a warning label attached to your body.
Rough surface.
Stub ahead.
Stubble ahead.
Dimitri, which one? Destiny, fate, or free will? Which one do you believe in?
Wow. Wow, you got deep. So we went from stubble to that. Man, you know, I'm a firm believer in destiny. I mean, I do. I think that, I'm not a very religious person, but I do remember my grandfather in Greece that told me one day that he believes that everybody in life has a candle, and this candle is your journey through life, and then when that candle goes out, then you pass away. And he had seen in a dream of his, Jesus saying the number 86, and he thought he was going to die in 1986, and he died in 1986 as well too. And after that, I was really a firm believer that you know, your destiny is carved out, like, you know, what your path is going to be. You're going to kind of fall on there, and yeah, there's a little bit of a wheel on how you're going to navigate that when the opportunity comes. But I do believe in destiny.
Phil, what's
Yes.
the best day of the week?
What's that?
What is the best day of the week?
Sunday.
Dimitri.
Sunday is the one day I try to do nothing, including talk to Dimitri.
Dimitri, what book had the most impact on you?
I'm not a big book guy. I listen to audibles like Phil does. I know this is getting way off topic, but I'm infatuated with mafia. I am for anything international, from you know, from here in the United States to Colombia to European mafia and all that. I think one of the most impactful books that I've read on that particular subject is the story of Pablo Escobar, and I've read all the books on him, but the one that really dives in and shows his life from the beginning to end. And this is a guy that literally could have the entire world in his hand and let his ego overtake and crush that, kind of like what the vaping industry is in right now. I think that was one of the most impactful books, yeah. And it kind of taught me a lot about crucial moments in your life and not to make those mistakes.
That is kind of deep. All right,
very
last
deep.
2 questions. Phil, toilet paper roll. Does the paper go over or under?
Come on, we had a whole poll on that in the platform. Over, of course, over. I mean, this is anything else is barbaric. Really.
Last one, Dimitri. For cars, is it a hard top or a rag top?
I'm a hardtop guy, especially now in my age. I'm getting a little bit older. I really enjoy sporty 4-door sedans with a hardtop. That's my favorite type of car.
Awesome. Gentlemen, we've been at it now already an hour and a half, and I could sit here and bullshit with you all night long, but you guys have a lot of things to do. Thank you, honest to God, so much for taking time to sit and just BS with me. Like I mentioned before, I have been looking forward to this from the first show that I did. And I was talking to Shelley about this earlier today, and I told her, I said, this show has to be, it's ranked in the top 3. And she looked at me. I said, no, you're right. It's ranked in the top 2. And she just kept staring at me. I said, all right, sweetheart, you know damn well I'm a fanboy. This is a show I've been looking forward to doing forever.
You know, I'll say this, Mike. I mean, I sincerely appreciate it because, you know, after a while, getting the questions like, well, how did you start vaping? And what did you start vaping with? And what was your vaping? Vaping. Sometimes it's nice to just not talk about vaping for a while.
Shit.
Go ahead.
You reminded me. I have to ask each of you one more question.
Okay.
Because Phil said this a long time ago.
Okay.
Phil, what beer's in your refrigerator?
I'm not a beer drinker.
Yeah,
what alcoholic drink is in your refrigerator?
Okay, well, not in the refrigerator is Jack. In the refrigerator, Red Apple Ale. I like Red Apple Ale.
Dimitri?
So gay. So I drink Johnny Walker Black. That's I drink so much Johnny Walker Black. Johnny Walker Black sends me a Christmas card every year.
Oh
That's
my
how much.
God.
That's not my choice. I mean, I do have a more expensive taste, but since I drink Scotch on a regular basis, I try to keep it somewhere mid-level price-wise. So Johnny Walker Black is by far. After I lost weight, I stopped drinking beer completely and sodas. so I don't drink beer. If I had to choose a beer, I mean, I could drink a Heineken or something like that. It's not
You are not a cheap drinker, are you?
Yeah. Well, it's much cheaper than Johnny Walker Blue. I'll tell you that right now.
Oh, Johnny Walker Blue, I think, is running like $2.40 a bottle.
Mike, he's very expensive, very, very high maintenance too.
No
very high
shit.
maintenance, yeah.
All right, guys. Thank you. Honest to God, thank you so much. This has been awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having us, and I want to just whatever Phil said as well to add on to it, that it's nice to sit down and just have a casual conversation about it. I do want to carry on something yesterday from the hot tub that we brought here about the relationship that me and Phil. There's a lot of times where this industry can get really vile. And they're like, oh, Dimitri and Phil, that's a stick. They're just doing it to make money, to sell more products, and they're banking on this and all that kind of stuff. And it really doesn't bother me, actually, at this point. I don't really care. I think it bothers Phil more than it bothers me. But I do want to read quote by quote, and Phil doesn't know I'm going to do this, but I sent Phil a message last week in his messenger, and this was really just a message that I just typed for him. And I just want to read it to you guys just so you understand where my relationship with Phil is and how this journey that we've had together. So the message reads, seriously, I won't say this again, and I probably won't say after today when I say it. I'm so thankful you sent me that first message on Facebook. Our journey has been long, but every step has meant a lot to me. I truly believe that my life wouldn't be the same if we didn't walk this path together, and then it has a little heart in the end. So that kind of sums up what you see here on these screens and on the hot tub or wherever we are in the world. That kind of sums up the journey that me and Phil have had, and I'm very humbled and blessed to be able to do it with him.
I feel the same exact way. I think we both said that many times. I wouldn't be where I am today without you, and I think you think vice versa. I can't think of when you think about all the places that we've been, all of the experiences that we've had and shared together. I can't think of another person I'd rather take the journey with. So
thank you, buddy.
Very appreciative of the friendship, and let's just keep it going.
Yeah,
and the funny thing is that when you say like it doesn't bother you when people say that we're banking on the relationship, that doesn't bother me even a little bit, because I know the relationship is not about banking. It's about a friendship that we have together. So.
Yeah. And I also want to thank you, Mike, and Patrick for carrying on Smoke Free Radio while I'm in this kind of hiatus. I think I'll be making maybe appearances on your show and Patrick's show when I have something really important to say. I'm just burned out, man. I'm just burned out that people don't understand. There's a lot of new people in this industry from the business side and the vaping side that don't know that I started doing this in 2012. I started doing the Vape Team show and have done some form of Smoke Free Radio since November of 2012, which is almost 7 years. It's a very long, it's like 25 years in regular lifetime. So, in fact, when we started the Vape Team, Phil will tell you, people are like, oh, what are you going to do? Nobody wants to hear news about vaping. And look where we are now, almost on the borderline of extinction. But, so yeah, I've been doing this for a very, very long time. So I hope people just appreciate that I'm at a stage where I'm just, if I don't have 110% to give in, I'd rather just take a break. So I do appreciate you and Patrick carrying on the torch and putting good content out on Smoke Free Radio every week. It's my baby, and I appreciate it.
I appreciate you giving me a platform to play on. And for people that don't know, Dimitris has always given me free reign to do whatever I want to do. I can have whatever kind of show that I want. And I know early on, and even up to a few months ago, I would stop and ask him, do you mind if I have this particular guest on? And he would go, Mike, it's your show. And a couple months would go by, and I'd stop and ask him, hey, I'm just checking to make sure that I'm not going to be running a file. He goes, Mike, it's your show. Do whatever you want. The last time I asked him, and I was trying to be polite, I'm telling him I'm going to have this person. He goes, we've had this conversation. I'm like, yes, we have. So that was the end of that. But for you, Dimitri, thank you for the platform to be able just to do what I do. And Phil, honest to God, I've asked you questions about hardware that you use and things that are going on, and you are always right there answering. I truly appreciate that.
Well, don't think you're something special there, Mike. I respond to everybody, and it does take a lot of time. But I feel like that's the least I could do for the folks who've watched me over the years and have supported me and allowed me to grow in the industry the way I have. Right? You deserve a response from me, and you'll always get it.
I appreciate that. One of you tell me if you would. It is on Tuesday nights, the Smokers Show.
Go ahead, Phil.
Yeah, the Smoker Show is every other Tuesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Are we going to do one this Tuesday? Yeah, we're going to do that.
Talk about the Switch. Very excited. The Switch.
That's right. So what we will be doing on the next Smoker Show is probably bringing you some video from the Flavor Art facility, which I think will be interesting, and talking about the Make the Switch DIY project that we're going to be involved in. So. Yeah. That's what will be on the next Smoker Show. The Smoker Show, I still think it's a very important show. The idea of the show and the reason why it's called the Smoker Show, with a lot of opposition to that name, is because we want to invite smokers to come and watch the show, enjoy the show, learn from the show, and get support from the show. I think at times the industry and people involved with vaping, we take for granted how much information that we've gathered over the years and how much we have in our heads, and how that compares to somebody who is picking up an electronic cigarette for the very, very first time. And when we picked it up for the first time back in 2009, it was simpler back then. There were less choices back then. You didn't have so many decisions and so much complication. And the Smoker Show is definitely a place to go and get some good advice on some of those decisions, maybe.
I know that there are a lot of people that I have had a chance to chat with on Facebook that have watched the Smoker Show and learned almost every episode that they've watched. They've learned something new, and they pass that on to a smoker. So I know what the two of you are doing in that show has a huge impact, and it's awesome.
And that's terrific, Mike. Look, I'm 50 now. Dimitri is 51, right? We may not appeal to the younger generation of vapors, but this is not about a particular segment. I mean, everybody has lungs, right? And people who smoke can be helped by this technology. So if Dimitri and I appeal to a certain demographic that aren't being reached by another reviewer or a publication, or they just don't like what they see, and they find us and they can be helped by us, I think that's a great thing. I always say that there's somebody out there for everybody, and we just want to appeal to who we appeal to, and maybe show the industry in a little bit of a different light, and maybe a little bit more mature and professional and adult.
No, you guys do a hell of a job at it, that's for certain. All right, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen in the chat room and that will be listening on the podcast, you have been listening to Dimitris Agrafiotis and Mr. Phil Busardo. And this is brought to you only by the Smoke Free Radio Network. Gentlemen, thank you. It was a lot of fun, and we'll catch up again sometime soon. For everybody else that's out there, I hope everybody else has a great weekend, and we'll be back again next week with another edition of Vaping in the Mic.